Hi you. So over the days I've been making videos on getting out of body, and quite a few people have the same question. Like, why do I have this ability to get out every night and others work 40 years or longer or less, but it's for them it's still hard to get out of body even though they worked for it on years. And it's a big thing, and I think like the biggest thing is context. Like some of you might think that I've been getting out every night for years and years and years, but it's actually like, quite different. Like, it took a while for me to get to this level where I am right now. And so, like, I'll touch a place where, like, I'm just gonna talk about my experience, like, for a little while. Like, why is it that I have, or I am where I am right now, and what I probably would suggest, or why do I think like others have it harder and stuff. So anyway, yeah, continuing on my life, as some of you watch my videos, you've probably heard me share about me having oobies when I was like 6 years old, and I had memories of my past lives and like the whole experience there. But it's not like it was happening since I was 6 years old, that every night. Like for me, probably once a month, once every few months. But I would get the whole I would get out of body and I would experience a thing, but I was not aware back then. And so that continued for like 14, I mean like for, till I was like 14, so for 8 years or so. And since then, when I was 14 years old, I found out about Rich 2150X. You can like find him on YouTube. He knows a lot. He's like really master, like he's amazing. But anyway, like once I found out Rich 2150X, he taught me a lot about getting out of bodies and what it's like, and so I just got a better understanding. Now, up to that point, when I was like 6 years old, and for those 8 years, and like basically for the whole 14 years of my life, getting out of body was like really hard. I did not know how to do it, but at the same time, there were a lot of stress factors and things that happened daily in my life that kept me from having my abilities. Mainly because, well, my main focus, or the thing I would probably blame for the whole issue of not being able to get out of body as easily, is because I became attached to this physical realm. And that being, as a kid, I'm growing up and like different things happening, so I'm getting more in touch with my body, and I'm getting more clingy to my body. I'm getting clingy to the universe. Like, I need to have this. I want to have a guitar. I want to have this. And like all your needs, whatever you want to have, like I want to eat. Like you have your favorite meal, and you're just like dying as much as you want to have that. You have your favorite snack or favorite junk food or whatever. And for me, like I was sweet for for quite a long time. And like your urges, your desires, like for food, for sex, for video games, for pleasures, for adventures, whatever you want, but you are clinging to the universe of the physical realm. Like whatever you want here on earth, you want to have a guitar, you want to be famous, you want to make money, you want to have this and that, and you just keep on naming, but you want everything right here in this place, which makes your consciousness like, I want to live here because this is what I want. You get that desire, like you want to become whatever, but basically in your subconscious, you get the understanding that you desire to stay in this place to achieve whatever you want. And same as people who have a harder time living here because of all the troubles, and they're like more of suicidal and stuff. And I'm not recommending people to feel suicidal to get benefits, but I've noticed that I've had changes once I started to go there. Once I started rejecting everything that's going on in my life because it's like been really rough and stuff. And I've been talking about those issues in previous videos, but I will talk about it in the future as well, like different things. Like I'm not gonna make it a big thing right now. But anyway, your issues in life, and for me, for example, like things that pushed me, got me to the place like, I hate this place. I do not want to be here anymore. I'm tired of everything. I don't want to feel pain anymore. Like everything that pushed me in a place where, fuck, I'm done with this place. Like I don't want to be here anymore. And you get a feeling of rejecting everything. Like, I don't care about fashion or getting different things. I don't want to eat food anymore. I don't want to do this and that and that. I don't want to have specific careers. I don't want to study in universities where they're like, I'm done. Like, so getting that consciousness or the mindset of I'm done and I don't want to get it anymore got me into like rejecting the physical realm, which made it easier for my consciousness to leave the body. And that was like, that rejection of like, I'm freaking done with this place, I don't want to be here anymore, and just like rejecting everything that a normal person would be like, oh, this is physical universe, yay, they don't have the understanding, and they are like, I don't want to like bitch people out or whatever. But there's that aspect where people that are religious or have certain beliefs about life, you know, they're like, you have to do things that God says and like avoid getting in hell and like all those things. But those are also like limiting belief systems that keeps you here. So you're like clinging to other belief systems and you have to obey them. You're obeying their laws and rules and whatever. So you just like engraving yourself more into this physical plane. And for me, as I was rejecting absolutely everything, my biggest desire was to get the hell out. Like, if I can meet the person, like, for me, the thing that drive me to get out of body was love. Like, I was crazy in love with one being, and I was like, damn, like, I probably, like, it's 100% that I will not get out of the physical universe, because there's no freaking chance. And so my goal was, like, I'm gonna try to get out and see if I can find another body of that being and like see if we can even talk to each other. Like that conversation, that having that one conversation would be enough. And that was like the biggest thing that drove me, like just getting out of body and meet that being and like I'm done like with this place. Like that's all I wanted. So my craving for getting out was the biggest thing that like got me. Like I rejected the physical and I was like super concentrated into getting out. Now, up until then, like I'm still 14 years old. So then it's like, I guess 4 years of intense practice. You know, you would think like, okay, she has a desire, now she wants to leave, it's gonna be easy. No, well, I would start getting out of body more often, but it was really hard work. Like since I was 14 and up to 18 years old, I was working every single day on that. Like adjusting my diet, like now that I know what's going on in the world and what they put in our food and stuff and how we're affected by it, I'm like, no, I don't want that crap in my body. Like I want my body to be healthy and not affected by all the chemicals and GMOs and whatever. So I'm like working on myself, like rejecting all the junk food, like sodas and whatever. So basically consuming whatever I understood healthy for myself and taking like, controlling what I consume. And then it's not, your diet is not what you eat or drink. It's also, your diet is also what you learn, the people you communicate with, and like, the way you live your life. It's basically, diet is not only for the body, but for the mind, for your emotional feeling, for your psychology, like everything. You have to get diet for your soul. You have to train yourself and stuff. So, in that kind of way, I started like getting better information, starting to hang out with different people that were like, usually I'm hanging out with people that are way older than me because they have the knowledge. And I'm like, I'm fascinated by the fact that I can learn, so I hang out with people that know way more than me because that's who I want to be. Like, I want to know more, so I'm going to hang out with those who do know more so that I can learn and stuff. And, so for me, like, it took those 4 years. It was, like, intense practice. I've talked with first one of FTX, I took his courses of getting out of body, and so every day now I'm doing techniques, and it wasn't just like, oh, I'll try it once and I'll see if it works. If it doesn't, I'm giving up because like it's not working. It was like, I don't care if it's gonna work or not, I'm gonna do it until it happens. And so for me it was daily practices, drinking water seemed like, it's not delicious and stuff, like I don't want to drink water, how is it even possible to drink a gallon a day? It was like way too much. But, like one of the daily practices was drink at least a cup of water. Or a glass of water, that would be the way I used to say it. So a glass of water, then toning and all kinds of mantras, like you have that om or om, like all those sounds, and you would have to like take your time and like really do the whole meditation and mantra and affirmations. And I have like a notebook, and where it's just like empty pages. And one of the practices was like do the affirmation that I am having out of body. I did get out of body, and I would write that whole like that one phrase like I'm getting out of body. I did get out of body. I would write it 1,000 times. Like the exercise was to write it 100 times. I would write it 1,000 times. Like I was going hardcore on that, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't like, oh, this is fun. Like no, it's like, oh god, one more time. I want to go. And so I just kept on going because I wanted to get out. Like my drive was to get out of body and never come back. It's like I wanted to be there. And like so my whole mindset was shifted into I will do whatever it takes to get out. And for all those practices now there are other techniques. Like you wake up in the middle of the night and you touch your surroundings and you do the reality checks and you go back to sleep. And so I have to go to school and I would like wake up every night like about 4 or 3 times. I would get like, have dark circles. Like I would not get enough stress because for me it's like really hard to fall asleep for some reason. Like I'm super sensitive to sounds. So, practicing all the techniques and like sort of sacrificing my rest and my sleep time and like all the like, hey, I'm just gonna rest and like get plenty of energy for tomorrow. And for me, it's like, god damn it, like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. I have an hour of probably decent sleep before going to school. And I was like, damn, like it was hard, but I was doing it every night for 4 years. I wake up in the morning and I still have time before I go to school. Like I would wake up probably 40 minutes or an hour earlier before I go to school because just eating just having some for breakfast if I'm lucky, and I would take my time. Like I was like literally getting into practice, so I would take 30 minutes to work on meditation, and I would just like meditate and take my time while everyone's sleeping in the house. I'm just doing meditation on myself, various processes that would help me to get out of body. So meditation in the morning. I get back from school, I get back, like, people are not there in the house, or if they are, like, I would just, like, turn on the music so that they wouldn't hear me do my stuff, because it was, like, really weird, and people are judgmental, so whatever. And I was, like, again, doing my mantras and, like, my toning and stuff, and doing my meditations, and, I just keep on, like, in the morning, and, like, after the school. I was about to go to bed, and I would still, like, take an hour before going to bed, and I would just do the meditation. And that hour before going to bed was also staying away from PC, from screens, from your phone. And the thing I'm happy about myself is that I'm not that much of a phone user, because some people, like, they're really into it, and the phone is like, they get tons of benefits, and whatever, like, they do with their phone, I'm fine, like, I'm not judgmental on that. But, like, for me, what happened is that I never had a thing with it. Like, my phone is basically for texting my parents, or calling them, or answering a call. And usually if it's strangers writing to me, I'm like, I don't know the person, ignore, like, I just keep it away. So basically, if I'm lucky, I'm gonna use it, like, once a week. And so my phone was basically for checking the time and, like, answering my parents' call. And so I would not get clingy to looking at the screen or the phone and whatever. Like, I would not sleep with it. I would, but, like, the phone is, like, for the alarm clock. So, yeah, there's that. So, yeah, 4 years of intense practice every single day. I would not like it. I would not be amazed by it, but I started getting benefits. It's finally started, like, for me to shift where I was doing techniques and it started working. And various things that I did, like, waking up and doing reality checks and practicing lucid dreams and having my body to fall asleep while I kept my mind awake, and, like, different kind of practices for 4 years every single day. Boy, was it not fun. Not at all. But I did it. And so, up until then, like, there's a lot of stuff happening in my life. It's stressful, it's not fun, but I fixed my body to a place where I can get out, sort of, once a week. And the biggest change I had was when I got, like, 18 years old. And some people came into my life and, like, things started to change in a way where I finally was able to cut off the negativity, the stresses, and other things. And I finally was able to escape from the emotional and psychological pressure. So having people to support me and having my mindset shift into where I'm not accepted by people, or I cannot express my opinion, or my whole life I was never able to say no to anyone. Like, whatever, like, I might not like it, I might not want it, but I would still agree because I felt like I had to. So learning to say no was a thing, and it was hard. Like, it was hard saying, like, parents saying something like, you have to go to university, or you have to, like, learn this. And I would not want it, and I would like, yeah, okay. So when I finally started working on myself, I was, like, able to say no and finally start standing for my beliefs and, like, standing up for myself and, like, doing what I want to do, which was, like, the major shift in my life. And, like, finally I'm more in control of myself. And, like, since then, like, practices for 4 years every single day. Then, like, this whole emotional work. And yeah, I think, like, it built up to a point where finally I did enough work to where I just had a shift, I got rid of the most stuff, and I'm able to get out. Now, I can get out every day, and, like, it happens, like, a lot. Even, like, this morning I had 2 Ubis, which is like, hey, this was fun. But, like, again, like, I think the biggest thing for me that stops me from getting out of body is, like, the psychological and emotional pressure. Like, whatever happens, if it's, like, super stressful, or if it's traumatic in some sort of way, is gonna affect me in a way where I get clingy to this world again. Like some issues with whoever, like with a person or something, and I have certain feelings towards them, like even if it's my parents or brother or relatives or someone that I know from work or whatever. If we have a fight going, or not a fight, like I'm mostly like I hate arguing, so I will like agree with everything or just try to chill till they get over with. But still, like things happen, and you can't always win. So when that happens, I don't get movies. Like I don't get out of body because my consciousness is clinging to the issue. Like okay, things happened, and now my concentration and focus is right here at this plane. So my takeaway from that whole thing, like it's a long video, so sorry for talking about myself so long, but some people ask, so hey, here we go. I think that the biggest thing why some people have it easy. Damn it, I'm jumping like back and forth because like there's another important thing that I forgot to mention. I think like why it's easier for me to get out of body is also the fact that it's my first time here on Earth, in the physical plane. Other people, like, they reincarnate here on Earth again and again, and no matter how good they were when they first came here, as they state, they got to reincarnate, they got brainwashed again and mind wiped, and like all their abilities were downgrading into like you're just going down with the spiral, and they got to the point where they were really suppressed. So coming back to my point, I think that most people, like having this difference. Me being so young and being able to get out of body every day, and others practicing it for 40 years and still having a hard time, and they're not as close as to where I am right now. So the biggest things for me, I think, probably like the lifetimes we've been here and our attachment to the physical realm. Because whatever happens in our life, like people are really in the less zone here on Earth. They're really in that, like mostly I think, apathetic place and lust. Like, I think that's where most people are clinging in the emotional feeling state. That being food and, like, all kinds of, physical pleasures, like, just sex or watching movies and just chilling and just vegetating. Whatever they will do to please themselves, they're watching after the body. They're clinging on their body needs. Like, oh, I have this, like, I have an urge to eat. No, calm down. Tell your body that you will feed it whenever you want and go do your thing instead. Like, I'm not saying that everyone has to live that way, but for me, that's like how I had it done. Like, I would reject my wants. Like, I'm craving for sugar. Like, I was like freaking addicted to sugar, and I would just have to say no. Like, I'm looking at that I don't know, Snickers bars, whatever, like Twix, whatever you can find that's like sweet. I'm like, fuck, I love it, and like getting slobbering all over the place. Like, like I want it, but I would have to stop myself. Like, no, I can't do that. And chips and other kind of junk food, it was like, fuck, like it tastes good, like pleases my tongue for a while, I want to get it. And so cutting off all that, and cutting off all my humanies, and I mean, not humanies, but like, that pleasure feeding the tummy and stuff, like, I would like be in control, which really, really helped. So most people, even though they practice getting out of body for 40 years, how much did you practice? How much effort did you put in? Did you use the technique once a month, once a week for 40 years? Or was it like you try a technique for a month, and then for a few years you don't do anything because that technique didn't work? How much effort do you put in to get out of body? Because I'm not saying that I'm freaking pro or I'm super good or I know it all. Like, I don't know anything. But what worked for me was being in control and really putting the effort. Like, getting out of body, if you really want to get out, you have to work at it and, like, build the muscle. Like, the more you do things and the more you practice every single day, being consistent, knowing why you're doing it and just going for it no matter what. Like, the day can be stressful as can be, but if you can take a few minutes to at least practice the technique that you want to get out of body, it's gonna help. So, again, coming back, like, the biggest thing is that people are clinging to this world. Their beliefs, their needs, their wants. We're really clinging to this place because of all those things. If we are able to be in control of ourselves, of our mind, of our body, we can start being in control of trying to get out and actually getting out. And I think like that's the biggest takeaway. Like, we need to be in control of ourselves. Because, yeah, we're limited. Like, there's a lot of things happening in the world that are really affecting us and our ability to get out of body. Like chemtrails, for example, this food, the things that they put in our food we think it's healthy, but like there's a difference. Like the veggies and fruits that I eat, they come from my grandparents, and we literally put the manure in the ground and the dirt and like all kinds of things, but it's all natural, like no pesticides, no chemicals, no whatever. So the food for me was healthier. Others they buy it from the market. It's like no GMOs or whatever. It's healthy food, but there's tons of pesticide. Like it's not helping at all. So like people have to adjust what they eat and different things. And some people don't need that. Like some people, they're not attached to Earth. So no matter what they eat or consume or the way they live their life, if they're not attached to the body and this physical plane, you can get out. And that's one of the things. You don't need to change your lifestyle too much. You can simply change your beliefs. Like ask yourself, like, why are you clinging to your body? Like death is only an illusion. Like your body will die. Everyone dies. But your soul, you are eternal. You will live forever. So the body can die. Like it's okay. But take care of your consciousness, your soul. And that's the thing that's gonna carry you on. And it's like I'm looking at the times. Like it's been 21 minutes, and I'm like, did I get my points out? Like, is this video useful for you and stuff? So all these questions in my head, and I guess the main thing, like one of the bigger things is people need to ask some sort of questions that would help them to realize that their beliefs, if you change them, you will stop clinging to your body and this world. Rich and I, we do this emotional freedom technique, and like yesterday we had 2 sessions, and I gave him 1, he gave me 2, and one of my items was stopping myself, like not being really sure if I should do things or not. That being, I really hesitate. So for me, it's another thing that gets me clinging to his body because I want to act, I want to say something, I'm not sure if I should do it or not, and I get in that place where I hesitate, and I concentrate or focus in my body, like, oh, is it gonna be good? Is it gonna be right? Am I gonna please people? Am I gonna harm someone? And all these questions in my head, they're keeping me triggered and keeping me in this physical earth. And it's a thing. So doing a session and getting some releases and being able to talk it out and getting some realizations regarding that whole item that I had, or even in the previous session, by the rules of psychology and how everything works. When people get the emotional release, they chuckle or laugh, and it comes as a physical thing. For me, I would not get that, and I would I'm not doing things good. Like I would start worrying because others are chuckling. Why am I not? And for me, I had a thing. So yesterday I did a session on that, lasted 20 minutes or so, to talk it out and stuff. And my takeaway was that there are tons of other things that get you a release. You talk it out, and you get a second I talked it out. You feel better. You get your heart out, and you just get things off your chest. It's also a release. And so for me, I was too much concentrated on chuckling and laughing, and not the other things, which also sort of limited me. Which is I did those sessions. I got rid of my limiting beliefs, or at least changed my perspective and understanding of my case. Bam! This morning I have 2 Ubis. So again, you can just simply talk it out about your issues. Why can't you get out of body? What sort of things stop you from getting out? Some people have fear of heights. Oh, I'm gonna fall, I'm afraid of heights. I have a fear of spiders. I'm sure that if I got rid of that, I would get out of body a whole lot more often. So for you, things that limit you, your perceptions, your things holding you back in life, oh, the work is so tiring, there's this happening in your work and stuff. If you were able to change your beliefs and get rid of your issues and problems, or at least the way it affects you, the same thing can still happen, but emotionally and psychologically you will not be affected anymore. If you're able to change that, then if you have some sort of real weird relationship with your parents or someone in your world, and that person is not good for you, it's gonna keep you here more. So managing our relationships and our surroundings and everything, it's a thing. So there are tons of factors why people cannot get out of body as easily. For me, it was intense work, and I worked at it every day. And I'm working on myself a lot, doing sessions and soul contract vocations and different sort of things, every single day. So there's always something that I'm doing to get out of body that I probably don't do that consciously. It just comes natural. Oh, I've read something new, or I've changed my beliefs or perception on life and something, and I get a win. So hey, like I'm winning, these things are happening. But I felt for quite a while, and I'm like, hell, this is just my perspective on that. Like, food, the things we consume, the surroundings that we live in, things affecting our lives, and like, pineal gland and diet and all kinds of things, our beliefs, perceptions. There's tons of factors that will impact your ability to get out of body or have lucid dreams. But again, like, this is my take on this whole subject, and I wonder, like, for those who watched like this whole long video, what's your take? Like, what's your take on getting out of body and like things that limit you, and why some people can get out of body at the early stage and some people like work for 40 years and they cannot? Like, it's a big thing, and we should like have context for this whole subject, So yeah. I just hope that you found something useful in this video. Like, whatever I've shared, I hope that it works for you or gives you a better perspective and ideas for you to get out of body. And yeah, I hope you liked it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!